I'm going to give you some advice and lay down some knowledge. Did you know that if you throw a milkshake at somebody, it's actually a crime? May be surprising to many of you, assuming you're part of the Antifa, regressive, communist, or whatever left, where you think that throwing a milkshake isn't violent, yet speech is. Don't ask me where their ideology comes from. It's nonsense. They simultaneously argue that speech is violence, but that throwing a milkshake isn't. That's quite, you don't know the definition of words, please. Here's the story. Paul Crowther, man who threw milkshake at Nigel Farage, spared jail after admitting common assault. Man ordered to carry out unpaid work and pay compensation after claiming act was a right of protest. Let me break this down for you. A man threw a milkshake at Nigel Farage. Why? It's mob mentality. These people are losing their minds. What happened? He was arrested, charged with the crime, and convicted. Because, surprise, surprise, throwing things at people, regardless of what that thing is, assuming the person doesn't want you to throw it at him, it's a crime. And you damaged his property by throwing a milkshake on him, and you assaulted him with a milkshake. I know it's kind of silly. Milkshakes aren't that bad. They're not dangerous. It's just really annoying, and you can't attack people in this way. It is an attack. It's meant to humiliate, and yes, you're attacking them. I just want to say one thing. I know it's kind of silly, but hey, people have dairy allergies. What if Nigel Farage had a peanut allergy and someone threw peanut milkshake at him? That can be really dangerous, and you never know. Before we read the story, let me tell you something. When I was a kid, there was I'll spare a lot of the important details, but there was a circumstance where two adult men got into a fight because one guy said something to the other guy's wife. So guy one, hits on guy two's wife, and guy two punches guy one, who falls back, bangs his head on the table, and dies. And guess what? Guy one goes to prison. It was a punch in the face. It wasn't meant to, kill the guy, but he died. It was an accident. Congratulations. You intended to inflict harm on somebody, and it resulted in their death. That's not manslaughter. That's murder. So in the extremely, extremely rare circumstance that someone has a dairy allergy or a strawberry allergy or a chocolate allergy or a peanut allergy, and you throw a milkshake at them, they could get seriously hurt, and it's your fault. Let's read the story. So this guy, he didn't get jail time. They say he's been spared jail assaulting Nigel Farage by throwing a milkshake over him in one of the spate of similar incidents targeting right-wing figures. Paul Crowther pleaded guilty to common assault and criminal damage at North Tyneside Magistrates Court. He launched a banana and salted caramel drink at the Brexit Party leader as he walked through Newcastle ahead of last month's European elections. There was apparently a post on Twitter where, I don't know if it was this guy, but someone claimed it was, and he was holding the milkshake saying, oh man, here he comes, I'm going to go do it. And then you get people on the social media who keep egging this stuff on, people like Carlos Maza saying, yes, humiliate them. Not directly to the guy, I'm just saying in general. And then what happens? Congratulations, dude lost his job. That's a big point. Here's what I'll do first. Before I read any more, go to timcast.com/donate if you'd like to support my work. There's a monthly donation option, a crypto option, a physical address. I can say it a million times, but guys, seriously, every day I wake up to hearing about another channel getting deleted, another person being purged from the partner program and losing access to monetization. And if that's the case, the only way this becomes possible is if you guys support through PayPal or otherwise. For the time being, you can like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's read on. They say, at the time, the 32-year-old told journalists the act was a right of protest against people like Mr. Farage. The bile and the racism he spouts out in this country is far more damaging than a bit of milkshake to his front. Excuse me. Mr. Farage said the attack sparked concern that the democratic process cannot continue in a lawful and peaceful manner. But a lawyer representing Crowther argued that throwing food did not amount to political violence. It did. The court heard that Crowther regretted his actions and has lost his job as a technical advisor at Sky and received threats as a result. What do they say that freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom from consequence? You know what I really hate about that statement is it means nothing. Everything has a consequence. Positive, negative. That's just called things happen when you do things. But guess what, buddy? You decided to throw a milkshake on a guy, which did nothing. Brexit Party wins. You lose. You've lost your job. People hate you. And now you're a criminal. Congratulations. District Judge Bernard Begley called the incident an act of crass stupidity. I would agree. While sentencing Crowther on Tuesday. He was handed a 12-month community order, including 150 hours of unpaid work, and ordered to pay Mr. Farage 350 pounds compensation and costs. Oh, man. Think about this. You threw a milkshake. Congratulations, you got arrested, lost your job. You got to pay Nigel Farage now, and he's going to get his suit, nice and clean on your dime. And Brexit Party won. It's just absurd these people do this and think it's, you know what? This is the problem I have with all these protesters. I would always say, explain to me how throwing a brick through a window, doing these things benefits your cause. They don't know what they're doing. They don't understand the ramifications. This hurts their cause. I said this to people that occupy Wall Street. When you throw a brick through a bank window, do you know what happens? The bank doesn't care. It is lower than a rounding error in their accounting systems. Oh, what's that? $1,000 in labor and cost to replace a window. They don't care. I'll tell you what happens, though. The community is upset. Broken glass everywhere. Now I can't go to the bank before work. What's this? The guy who works at the bank, who's like 24 and makes $30,000 a year, is now going, what? I can't go to work now because they're doing work on it. The bank's closed? You're not helping your cause. You're making everyone think you're crazy. You want to know what really helps your cause? And I mean this seriously. Stand outside of a bank wearing a nice polo and some khakis with a smile on your face. And when someone is about to walk in, you ask them if they have a minute to talk to you about community banking. Shake their hand with a smile and say, have you considered credit unions? Credit unions are nonprofit banks. They're a better alternative, and they reinvest in the community. And guess what? If you convince even 2 or 3 in one day to move their average savings of $1,000 to $3,000 to a credit union, the bank's going to get really, really mad because you are disrupting business. That is something they will notice. And I mean that literally. Same is true for Starbucks or any business. There's a famous case where protesters were outside of McDonald's flyering, and McDonald's sued them, and it caused serious damage to McDonald's. It's a very famous case, and it's why the bad guys don't sue, because they know it will get worse for them. But what do we get instead? We get dudes like this, who has no idea what he's doing or why he's doing it, throwing a milkshake at some dude. Congratulations, you did nothing. You satisfied your emotions because you're a child. That's what a child would do. An adult would strategize. Actual adults in the political arena don't bash people with bike locks and milkshakes. They figure out how to reach people. And this is one of the most frustrating things for me that I talk about all the time. The Democrats have no idea what they're doing. What does Ocasio-Cortez do? She goes, Trump is running concentration camps on the border. No, be quiet, please. Can you please talk about something that makes sense and convince people instead of saying nonsense? But they don't strategize. Sure, it might work to rile up a few fringe extremists to help you in the short term, long-term failure. And that's what they're doing. They're doing short-term gain, long-term loss. Let's read some more of the story, though. The compensation was for the damaged lapel microphone, suit cleaning, distress, and inconvenience. The court was played footage that showed Mr. Farage walking away with his suit covered in the drink. The Brexit Party leader could be heard rebuking a member of security staff and telling him he could have spotted that a mile off. Yeah, he could have. Crowther of Throckley in Newcastle upon Tyne was charged with common assault over the attack on Farage and criminal damage of a microphone he was wearing during the incident on the 20th of May. Prosecutor James Long told the court, I suppose for the split second the attack took place, Mr. Farage would not know whether it was a harmless liquid or something in this day and age far more sinister. Yes, because the UK has serious acid attack problems. He said it was clear from a Facebook post that Crowther made before the incident that he intended to throw the milkshake on Mr. Farage, premeditated. But when interviewed by police, Crowther claimed it was a moment of madness and loss of control. In a statement read to the court, Farage said he was embarrassed by the incident and added, I am concerned because of the behavior of individuals like this. The normal democratic process cannot continue in a lawful and peaceful manner. Brian Hegarty, defending, said there was a long history of protesters throwing food at politicians, and the act did not amount to political violence. Hegarty said the attack was not premeditated for long and argued that Crowther could have purchased a cheaper milkshake than the $5.25 drink he used. He said his client now regretted his actions, adding, the defendant had cause to reflect, and having done so, he would say he wished he would not have acted as he did. Crowther believed in democracy and did not want to be seen to be trying to silence people with whom he disagreed, the court was told. Yes, now that he's in court and he's in serious trouble, that's what we hear. Hegarty said his client was not a radical Remainer and believes the 2016 referendum result should be respected, although Crowther thought we should leave under different terms from those suggested by the Brexit Party. I'll tell you what this means to me. This guy just joined the mob. That's mob mentality. People lost their minds. He lost his mind right along with them. That's dangerous. So good on them for actually getting justice in this regard, because the UK is not famous for it. They used to be. It's rather sad where we're at now. Well, we'll just they go on to talk about how there's other people who have been milkshaked, Sargon and all that. But I think I'm not going to read through the rest of it. You get it. Milkshaking bad. You reap your rewards. And there you have it. I think it'll just get worse. I don't think this will stop anybody. But hey, at least someone got charged. I got one more segment coming up in a few minutes. I will see you soon.